Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and coming up here on today's show, we got our top 10 roster battles to watch entering the second preseason game here for the Silver and Black. Now, these are not ranked in any particular order, but I will start on the offensive side of the football and then work my way to the defensive side of the football. If you don't already know, it's probably because you're not a real one, you got to hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, because Jeremy Chugs and I live Raiders, Rams watch parties, and we're calling all the Raider fans out there. So if you know a fan that's not already subbed, take that link that you see below, send it to them right now. We're going to be live at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and I'm going to be rocking the Tri-Van jersey. So let's go. The first battle that I'm going to be watching is that final running back spot. If Jacobs is on the team, Jacobs is the workhorse, Zamir White on the team, Amir Abdul is probably going to be your third down back, right, as we know. Jacob Johnson more than likely going to be the fullback, but then who's going to be that final running back? Is it going to be Brittain Brown? Is it going to be Damien Williams? Is it going to be Darwin Thompson? Is it going to be Sincere McCormick? I don't have the answer to all of these questions. And really what's kind of funny about this is it might just end up being Brandon Bolden. But if it was up to me, it wouldn't be Brandon Bolden, right? Like, I know what the Raiders are trying to do. And when I say final running back spot, this is the Silver and Black keeping an extra running back, because I do think that they end up keeping Bolden. They love Bolden from a special teams leadership captain standpoint, but if the Raiders decide to keep that extra running back, who's it going to be? To me, it's between these four players right here. Let's go to the sixth wide receiver spot, because they're going to keep Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, locked and loaded. Trey Tucker, locked and loaded. DeAndre Carter, locked and loaded to make this roster. So now it really just comes down to who exactly can make the push forward, because the Raiders have Keelan Cole, you have Lacy, you have Wilkerson. No disrespect to the newly signed Isaiah Zuber, not going to happen. So realistically, it comes down to Phillip Dorsett. It comes down to Cole. It comes down to Lacy and Wilkerson all around. So for me, I sit up here very confidently and I say, I believe it's going to be Dorsett because of his ability to stretch the field. And also that connection with Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler from years past. But Cole did look pretty good this past week. 6 catches, 29 yards, and a touchdown. Sims and Lacy are bigger receivers, and then Wilkerson also has the ties with the New England coaching staff. To me, though, I'm going to bet on Phillip Dorsett. Let's go to the starting right guard spot, because I know a lot of fans out there are wondering who's going to be the starter at right guard. And now that Dylan Parham's got a little bit of an injury issue, it does make it more interesting. It does. Plain and simple. But Colton Miller is going to start at left tackle. When Parham's healthy, he's going to be left guard. Center, Andre James. Right tackle is probably going to be Jermaine Illuminor. At least it should. So to start at right guard, it's between Bars, Greg Van Roten, and Netane Muti. If I was the person calling the shots, I'm typing Greg Van Roten. However, though, Bars started 15 games last season. So how about this? This is what the Raiders Report here is all about. I know offensive line isn't sexy, but you know what? Watching Raiders videos in May, June, and July, it's not sexy. It's what diehard Raider fans do. And probably the top conversation that I get into with a fan, if I meet you out in Vegas, Oakland, wherever it is, Central Pennsylvania, Dallas, Texas, I talk about the offensive line. If you could talk about the offensive line, that's how I know that you're a real one. And I think a lot of y'all probably agree with that. So who's going to be the starting right guard this upcoming season for the Silver and Black? This will be the pinned comment on today's show. If you think it's Bars, type AB or FAB. Greg Van Roten, GVR, or if you think it's going to be Netane Muti, type NM. Let's go to the next battle here that I'm going to be looking at. I'm looking at the UDFA offensive line battle. And I don't know if the Raiders keep both of these young men here. I hope that they do. Like, honestly, I really hope they do. I hope they keep Dalton Wagner. I hope they keep McClendon Curtis. And with the injury to Brandon Parker, that does really open this possibility up. And, yeah, they traded for Justin Herron last offseason, They traded a 6th-round pick, got a 7th-rounder in return plus Haran. But Haran, to me, has lost a step. If I'm Carmen Brasillo, I'm begging McDaniels and Ziegler to keep both of these young men here because what do I want? I want young, athletic offensive linemen that have some upside. Justin Haran doesn't have that upside anymore. So to me, I'm hoping both these guys make it. Let's go to the final one here, the 4th defensive end spot. And this is an interesting battle because Tyree Wilson, Chandler Jones, and then there's this guy named Max Crosby. Maybe you've heard of him. Those are your top 3 defensive ends. Those are the players that are locked and loaded, going to make this roster. To me, though, when I look at my 53-man, are they going to keep 4 defensive ends? Are they going to keep 5 defensive ends? That answer is still a coin flip to me. However, though, it's either going to be between a Jordan Willis, a Malcolm Kuntz, and Adam Plant Jr. I think what George Tarlas has done this offseason is nice. He's not going to make the roster. I think what Agoa has done to be in the International Pathway Program, he's a good athlete, but he's not in the same conversation. So to me, that final defensive end spot, maybe they keep 2 of these guys. I don't have the answer to that. But I know that they're going to keep at least 4. Is it going to be the 3rd-year guy from Kuntz? Is it going to be the guy that they signed a free agency in Jordan Willis? Is it going to be Isaac Rochelle, who spent some time last season with this team and they recently signed? Or is it going to be the UDFA from Adam Plant Jr.? A lot of unknowns, no doubt about that. We still got some more position battles that I want y'all to watch for in the preseason, in joint practice, whatever it is. But always remember that we got one spot, man, that you should be putting your sports bets right now, and that's BetUS. If you don't love BetUS and you don't love free money, and wait, free money, Mitch, tell me more. You know what? I'm glad you asked. Go to chatsports.com/Raiders. Use promo code Raiders125. That's going to get you 125% deposit bonus. What does that mean? It means if you put down $100, you're going to get $125 for free to bet with. So imagine a crazy world where you get a pizza, which I'm telling you right now, I'm eating a pizza after this show. And you're going to get an entire pizza for free, plus you're going to throw in 2 free slices. That's how good that deal is. You can also bet right now on the Raiders win the AFC West. $10 down, risk 10 to win 140. That's the deal. Chatsports.com/Raiders. Promo code Raiders125. All right, we're going to keep it rolling here. We got 5 more position battles to watch out for. And we're going to look at starting defensive tackle. Bilal Nichols, to me, is the only DT on this roster that has a spot. I mean that. Bilal Nichols is the only defensive tackle on this roster that has a locked and loaded spot. He's your number 1 DT. After that, it's up for grabs. Who's going to be playing next to Butler? Or Bilal Nichols, excuse me. Is it going to be Adam Butler, Matthew Butler? Is it going to be Neil Farrell Jr., Byron Young, Nesta Jade Silvera? Is it going to be Jerry Tillery, John Jenkins? Because when you look at joint practice, when you look at the preseason, all these guys have been playing pretty well. In fact, the guy that I've been probably the most disappointed with has been Byron Young. If it was up to me, I would probably roll with Jerry Tillery early on. But, man, these guys are making this one hell of a competition, and I don't know who's going to be the other starting defensive tackle for the Silver and Black. So how about this? Who's going to be the best defensive tackle this season for the Raiders? If you want to put Bilal Nichols, you can. Go for it. It's up to you. Are you going to go with one of the rookies? Are you going to go with somebody, I don't know, from last season? Neil Farrell, Matthew Butler. Are you going to go with one of the vets? Let me know. Best defensive tackle this season for the Raiders. Let's go to the 4th linebacker spot here for the Silver and Black because it's another battle that, no doubt, I'm going to be watching for. When you have Robert Spillane, he's going to be one of your top linebackers. The Raiders gave the green dot to Divine Diablo. That means he's going to get his opportunity. And then I do know for a fact that they like Luke Masterson and they like his ability to be a very versatile player in coverage, special teams. So let's call him the linebacker 3. Then that means that 4th linebacker spot is going to come down to these 5 players here. However, okay, and when you're about to see this list here, I think that Luke Masterson and Amari Burney probably battle for that 3rd spot, okay? I do think that Masterson already has the upper hand, But from a coaching standpoint, one's a UDFA, one player you drafted in the 6th round. So let's say that they battle for the 3rd spot, okay? Whoever wins this 3rd linebacker spot means that 4th linebacker spot comes down to whoever loses this, and then it's Curtis Bolton, Drake Thomas, Darian Butler. Butler, to me, is one of the odd men out. Curtis Bolton has played very well this offseason and played very well in the preseason game. Drake Thomas is a UDFA who's got a lot of heart, and it's like literally exactly what this organization's looking for. To me, though, I think it's going to be Amari Burney, Luke Masterson, Divine Diablo, and then also Robert Spillane. Let's go to the final cornerback spot, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a spoiler alert here. There's 2 corners that you're going to see on this list. The first final cornerback spot, if you will, is more for the outside corner. Like, I'm only looking at the dudes on the outside. Jacorian Bennett, going to make the roster. Marcus Peters, going to make the roster. However, after that, I do think there's a lot of unknowns here. Like, the Raiders, if it was up to me, it'd be a little bit different. That final cornerback spot, though, like, it could be between a Duke Shelley, a David Long Jr., a Sam Webb, a Brandon Faison, right? Like, Nate Hobbs is going to make it. No doubt about it. Marcus Peters is going to make it. However, though, if the Raiders decide to keep that final outside corner, could they keep 2 of these names? Yes, no doubt about it. But they have a lot of difficult decisions that they are going to have to make at that outside corner position, and it's going to come down to these 4 players right here. Another position I'm going to be looking at is the slot corner, right? Slot corner, that's to me between Amik Robertson and Tyler Hall, where both of these players have shown that, hey, they're going out there, they're competing, they're great at what they do, but they might keep one, they might not keep any of them. Could they decide to roll with more outside corners than inside? Because Hall and Amik, Hall's really just a slot. Amik could probably play inside and outside a little bit more than what Hall can, but Robertson's not a McDaniels and Ziegler guy. Tyler Hall is. It's a tough battle, there's no doubt about it, which is why I can't wait to see what the 53-man roster looks like this season for the Silver and Black. And then let's go to the final one here. It's the 4th safety, where Merrick's a lock to make it. Marcus Epps has been absolutely phenomenal. He's going to make this roster. They drafted Chris Smith in the 5th round. He's probably hasn't shown me as much as what I want to see yet, but has still been a good, solid player. And then it comes down to that final safety spot. Is it going to be Isaiah Polomeo, who made the 53-man last season? He's probably the better overall defensive player and better safety. But they signed Jaquan Johnson. And they also love Roderick Teamer and his ability to play special teams. So if you're at that point where you're looking at the overall roster and you're like, man, do I keep somebody who's better at special teams or do I keep the better defender? I'll always bet on the better defender, but Roderick Teamer is definitely making a name for himself. So here are the Raiders roster position battles that I want all of y'all to watch this upcoming season. It is the final running back spot. Who's going to be that 6th wide receiver? Starting right guard, UDFA offensive line battle, 4th defensive end spot, starting DT, 4th linebacker spot, final cornerback spot, final slot cornerback spot, and then the 4th safety. If you don't already know, Chugs and I, we will be live for Raiders-Rams August 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time here on the Raiders Report. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you got those notifications turned on because guess what? Nation, I don't want y'all to miss anything. Chugs and I, we got you covered here, and if we don't, then I definitely know Tri-Van does. And speaking of Tri-Van, if you guys could, when we're filming this live, it's his birthday. So spam Tri-Van right now down in the chat.